All right, you guys ready for some Kuno training?
All right, hello.
What's up, my goat? Good to see you, buddy. Let me give you like a little introduction to the stream, okay? Okay, I'm gonna glaze you a little bit. You cool? I'm sure you need a little bit of glazing today. Okay?
I'm a super below average, a gearlit Kuno.
Right, yeah. So, guys, this is sadistic, okay? New montage just dropped, by the way. Incredibly talented Kuno in our community. Some of you guys may have seen him. His name's Sadistic in-game. What are you, fucking 800 gear score, right?
Yeah.
800 gear score Kuno, man. Holy demon. When I was already on Kuno, I already had probably like 600 hours on her at the time. Sadistic was there helping me kind of like sharpen it up a little bit. And that's actually why I play as decently as I do nowadays. I need a little bit of a kind of resharpening a little bit on some things. So he's here to help us out today.
Yeah, this will also be good too for, you know, any players that like you get past the first steps of the class. Because I'll be real, I don't know, I've probably showed like 50 to 100 people how to play this class. It's probably between Yeti and maybe 2 other people that already played Awakening Kuno that are still on the class after 2 days, right? Because this class is really punishing. It's very much a muscle memory game. There's only so much you can teach somebody. 90% of the class is just, can you neutral for 90 seconds straight without getting CC'd? And then once you get to that point, you can learn the other 10% of the class, like comboing and, you know, how to engage, disengage, that kind of thing will just come naturally once you understand the movement.
It's almost like it's one of those classes someone has to know what they're doing a little bit before they can learn anything at all.
One of the biggest nerfs this class received, which pretty much caused all the, you know, half players to roll off of it, was the stamina changes. People think that this misconception that the class is just like super stamina gated, but if you know a couple quirks about it, like with Flash Slash, for example, every time you're moving with Flash Slash, it's gonna regain or change your stamina. If you're stationary with it, it's gonna regain stamina. Same with Tendon Cutter. A lot of the times you're actually incentivized to use those skills in place as opposed to always trying to move with them. If you were here as the target, and how long could I just neutral around for, right? So it would be like, and then you could watch my defense icons to see like, okay, what do the gaps actually look like, right?
Mm-hmm. God, his movement's so clean, chat. Look at that shit.
And then about there is when you run out of stamina, right? That was kind of a little bit sloppy, like you could do better than that. There's like a couple micro gaps, you know, like whenever, for example, one of the advanced movement chains, when people ask like, what's your preferred way to use Shadow Stomp? Because at some point you have to use unprotected burst filler in this class to actually drop damage. So a lot of the times what I like to do is use clone backwards into Stomp. It's a little bit easier to chain out of a different skill. I go crescent and then clone backwards into a camera turn Stomp. Yeah, it allows you to not only gauge your position, but you can turn it any direction that makes sense, basically. It's better than, say, like, just using Kunai into Stomp, or sometimes I see people use, like, Ghost Greeting Stomp or something like that. It's just not ideal. But generally speaking, you want it to be, like, high frame, SA, unprotected filler, and then kind of repeat that chain if you need to use stuff. So one of the things that might come up a lot is obviously with Tendon Cutter. So from standing right there, max distance for Tendon, it's about here. So if you're holding frontal guard, right, Tendon is always going to teleport you the opposite direction of where your camera is facing. And Tendon Cutter always goes to the right first, so ideally you want to go slightly to the right of them, kind of like where I'm throwing my kunai right now. And then at the very last second, you want to turn your camera. And that's how you properly get around forward guard with Tendon.
Okay, you mind if I try that?
The closer you are to somebody, the easier it is to float them with it. So if you're trying to get the max distances right, like you want to come from as far away as possible to make it as difficult as possible.
Right.
So I would say about here is about the max range that I would try to do it from. And then aim directly at my character model and then try to turn your camera.
It's a little stiffer, but
even if you see what I'm saying, you're still able to do it, but sometimes, like, the game is a little bit finicky with that kind of thing. Another way that you could do that is if you're standing with your Q block, you would do ankle cutter, ghost step into a stomp. Basically like that with the camera turn, right? Basically like that with the camera turn, right? But say if you know a class is going to try to backpedal and then like forward guard against you like a Musa Mewa, I would say from about here is the range at which you could do it pretty easily.
Ooh, that's pretty good. I don't think I've ever actually used that combo
you
for
can't,
float.
you can't actually track somebody doing that. Like Kuno has a lot of things where it's very, very difficult to track what they're actually doing.
Yeah, that looks so crazy on my
it
screen.
It looks completely stupid on the other person's screen. Like it doesn't make any sense. Right? Yeah, if you want to try that too, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
Ankle cutter, go step forward, and then 180 stomp with kunai or just off of the go step itself.
I bet I'm gonna cook. Oh, a little late on the.
It's a really awkward input. So same thing, right? With the remember what I was telling you about aiming to the left or the right of the character? Because you don't want collision with them. I'm sure you've realized that Dance Macabre will specifically collide with people.
Yes.
And there's a lot of situations where you don't want to collide with a target that's like right here if you're trying to get to somebody right here. So this is another situation where you gotta stress not actually aiming at the person, but slightly to the right or left. If you aim at me, right, you see your crosshairs red, just enough to where the crosshair is still red, but the crosshairs aren't touching anymore.
Okay, got you. Yeah.
And this is what I'm talking about, right? It's like if you don't know the movement chain, what's the point of me teaching you this?
Right. I don't think this would be like too impossible for me.
No, it's just a muscle memory thing. But so you want to get into the habit of being able to do it a little bit closer so you're not trying to go such a distance, because if you notice, I'm going to start right here and I'm basically going to end in the same place I started. So do you see how I'm, like,
I think I'm aiming just a little bit too wide. Yeah. Almost.
My weapon away. That was good, except for the slow stomp. I like to do this one specifically with kunai throw because I noticed the more aggressive your camera turn is, the harder it is to go step cancel the stomp.
Okay, so kunai throw is more comfortable for this one?
Yeah, specifically because you're doing such an aggressive camera turn.
I need to be a little faster on that, but yeah.
This is a kind of one of the skills that you would just naturally be using your movement chain, and then out of nowhere, right? Like, let's say I was like skirmishing around, right? And then all of a sudden you're boom.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, right?
Like, I remember fighting your Kuno back in the day, man. Dude, chat, like when Sadistic plays Kuno, dude, you literally can't blink. Like, it's so hard to keep track of him.
A smoke into concealment grab. This is what it looks like from the other person's perspective. You just like disappear and then appear directly in front of them, you know?
Yeah. And so how do you do what you just did? Is that just like hotkey?
So you're going to use smoke screen off hotkey, and then smoke screen into spacebar is the flow for concealment. And then after you do that, you can just immediately go step into grab or just grab them depending on how far away they are. So once again, you do smoke screen space straight into grab. And then you add a ghost step. Because like normally when you go into stealth, right, you're just crouch walking. So you're trying to ghost step out of the little slow walk that you'll be doing, so you never have that space where you're unprotected in stealth. The reason it's so strong is because you can't track it, right? So if I'm just walking at you and I do that, you might be able to predict it a little bit. But if you're doing your normal movement chain and doing all this, and then all of a sudden you change directions and then go straight into a grab, it doesn't really matter how good your reaction time is. You can't really react.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy, to be honest.
A maximum distance that you can possibly engage somebody from is tendon cutter into ghost step into hidden dagger jutsu, which is an approximate range of about here. So can you see me?
Yep, I can see you barely. Yep, you're out there.
So
okay,
that's how much distance you can cover in the span of 2 skills, essentially.
I at least am one of the Kunos that actually know how to use hidden dagger jutsu, so that's a good thing, right?
Yes, one of the quirks of hidden dagger jutsu, there's a few things with it. You never want to free cast the skill. You only want to use it out of your essays. Like for example, if I was going to flash slash and then teleport to you. So if I clone in my movement and I'm not set up to stomp afterwards, throw out the hidden dagger to teleport, because they kind of like, let's say people kind of scattered when I dived or whatever. So I might like do that. Completely skip the forward guard of the animation and about half of the time that it takes. So it's extremely fast. And sometimes if you watch in my gameplay, I'll be in the middle of like a damage combo or something and just cast it out like that. You can't even really tell that I cast hidden dagger at all during that I did.
Yeah, I use it a lot during ghost step is like how I've been using it the most.
Yeah, just so long as you're canceling it is very good. Understand that if you're in a group of people, it will always teleport you to the furthest person away from you that it tags. If you hit a group and then you teleport to it, without doing any fancy camera or anything, it will always teleport you to the furthest most person, which is very, very strong for an engage. If you hit me during the add-ons that I sent you, you get 25 seconds of your
DP
defensive add-ons. So, 25 DR or 20 DR and 5% evasion rate is very strong on Kuno. If you pair that with Assassin's Trail, you get up to 23% evasion rate for 10 seconds. But you can also just use that same thing for, say, you're in like a T1 cap node war or something. You can use it for, say, critical rate and attack speed. One other thing that a lot of people don't know about, when you BSR, your add-ons do not apply. So that's just something to think about before you're BSRing on Kuno, is you actually want to try to do a little bit of filler damage with it to get all of your add-ons and then BSR. So you have all of your additional damage on top of that, right?
Now, would you say it's smartest to make sure you get a hidden dagger jutsu out as well before you BSR? That way you get the DP up? Because I noticed that I've run into problems that sometimes motherfuckers just be blowing me up. I've like just gotten shredded in the middle of my BSR.
Let's say we're in maybe RBF, for example, and I'm running full glass. What I will do is I'll actually, as I'm engaging, I'll pop a whale tendon and give myself the bonus 175 DR for my BSR specifically, and then whale pot while I'm BSRing to make sure that I get off every bit of damage.
That's smart.
So instead of trying to use whale tendons as like I'm going to try to get up from this combo that I'm gonna die to anyways. Use them to solidify your 4-piece or 5-piece kills.
That makes sense.
I actually prefer to not engage with tendon. I actually like to use it as part of my combo because you have a refloat. It's really good at countering somebody that's coming to peel you. I'll specifically use the tendon, use an SA float and drop down attack damage. Right?
Yeah, because if somebody comes in to peel you, could CC the next guy or something like that behind him.
That's precisely what will happen a lot of the time. Some skills you only want to use them as chaining out of other skills, because say if I use Crescent immediately into Tendon, there's no gap in that.
Right. That's why you need to have more options instead of using as an engage. So what would you say is probably your best way to engage then?
So let's say I'm at the start of an AOS match, for example, right?
Yep.
I'm just gonna gather my runes, and then when I'm coming out of render, I'm immediately gonna land in with a dance. You're gonna have a triple rune dance, which is gonna do a lot of damage.
Free damage, I'll start, yeah.
And that's really, really strong. And then you can basically immediately go into a smoke screen into Flash Slash, and then you can go to block jump, and then you hold block jump, linger it, and just look around, right? Like that's probably one of your strongest, most protected ways to do something. You only have, the stiff and the stun, or the 2 stuns, or whatever it is in that combo. But it's a lot of damage and it's very, very protected. And then going into block jump allows you to immediately reassess the situation, whether you CC'd somebody or they moved or whatever have you. Basically, I use block jump less as a CC and more of a let me assess what's going on around me and regain some stam.
Yeah, I don't like to use my block jump and go immediately behind the player. I actually like to just sit in it for a second and go to like the side and be invisible and then find a way to re-engage. Yeah, I think that might be my biggest flaws, I think, as being a Kuno is I haven't been actually utilizing the hotkey for smokescreen as much as I should, because it's like literally just a free SA. I don't know why I haven't really been utilizing it that way. I think my brain's been thinking it's the same thing as like holding space. What I was doing was ankle cutter into spacebar. That was kind of like always my go-to instead of like using it in place.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Why don't you just play that clip from the siege? And that's kind of an idea of how you should be engaging. There's probably a lot to digest from just that clip.
All right, let's take a look here. Okay. No, the movement's clean. I like how you got the CC on somebody and just still fucked off to go fuck with other people. You're like, all right, well, that guy's been fed to the wolves. Moving on.
It's 4 rangers were on my minimap, and 4 rangers needed to die. That was the only mission. I can't even watch my clips back and tell you what I did, to be honest.
That ass? Like, well, you know it by skills at least.
It's what I was talking about with the muscle memory thing, right? It's just, I'm just breathing or whatever,
No, yeah, I know. I mean, I feel like I'm breathing with the class as well, but I may not be like as efficiently breathing, like.
Even watching your own Kuno playing is hard to track what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're thinking so fast. There's a lot of things that are happening mechanically very quickly, and there's a lot of things that are happening just from even the other player that like could make you have to react entirely differently as well. So it's not like you know everything that's happening at every given moment.
The big takeaway here is, what am I trying to do, right? And all I'm trying to do in this situation is Arise's range pressure was very strong. Your main ball is always going to have a harder time the more range pressure there is, the more there's rangers just sitting there free cast. A lot of your guys are going to be dying, right? So one of two situations happens from my playstyle, which is either they're going to have to send people to deal with me, or I'm just going to do that to their rangers, right? Either the rangers have to turn around and run away from me, die, or they have to commit a bunch of main ball Zerks and Awakening Musas and Awakening Dosas and stuff to just sit there and chase me.
What graphic settings you play on, by the way, in this war?
So this one is just lowest optimal.
Frustrations that I had at the time was I was just getting into Node Wars, and I was very frustrated with Kuno because I was doing T1s at the time as my first ever wars. I didn't really know how to kind of play around the ball or position or whatever, because every little thing that I was doing, because as you know, Kuno has a lot of gaps if you don't really know how to minuscule everything, right? I was very frustrated because I was very much struggling through a lot of those gaps, and I was getting just absolutely cooked. So watching this is really nice because it kind of gives me an idea like how you're moving through the ball and around the ball to kind of take out the objective of getting rid of the range.
There's one other thing that I can teach you too, that this is probably something unique to my playstyle that maybe other Kunos maybe might not know about, but the maximum way to jump on Kuno is by double jumping and then clicking LMB, RMB, LMB into Ghost Step. So that looks like this.
What the fuck?
And say in Valencia City RBF, or say you're in the mountains, right? And you're trying to get up to a ranger or something, you have no problem jumping clean up any type of
Did you just
buildings or
climbed a
terrain.
wall on my screen? Okay, what is the inputs for that?
So you do double jump, right?
Yeah.
And then you do LMB, RMB, LMB. And then you go step out of that. And you see how you get that bonus movement?
Yeah.
So double jump, and that's how you get the max height on Kuno.
Am I trolling? I don't know. The only reason why I rebound the WW is because like I just feel like using F between everything is complicated. I don't know if you use WF between like everything, or if you use WW movement on the mouse button or something.
I do not. I would say that in general, it is much more user-friendly to bind WW movement. And I would say that generally most Ninja players and Kuno players probably as well.
Right,
So
like it's perfectly comfortable for you to not do it. I can just like 180 my mouse and just like go step backwards, like, and it just makes my left hand do way less.
I'll just show you like what I would use. Like, let me say I was gonna kill somebody that's, you know, a DR target or something in a 1v1 combo. So it looked like that. In practice.
Okay.
The hard part about this one is actually getting the first 3 skills down, and the way to practice it is to just do Crescent into Clone Stomp, because the way CCs work, after 4 CCs, any combination of 2 CCs, it automatically puts the character on immunity, right? Mm-hmm. Now, after somebody has been immediately CC'd by one type of CC, let's say float in this case, you cannot float them again for about a split second. So what I'm doing here is that I'm using the air smash from clone to prevent them from getting floated again by stomp, so that I can float them again with wheel. And so to learn the combo, you want to be able to do crescent into clone into stomp perfectly, which looks like this. Yes. So from there, instead of using Crescent as the CC, and this combo works with Tendon or Crescent, it's just with Tendon you're getting the chip damage from the Tendon blades, right? And then you would do Explosion, and then you'd refloat them with Wheel. And then you could do your filler damage, Shackle into your Rebomb, Foxclaw Shackle into your Rebombs.
Okay. Tendon, Clone, Stomp, Ghost Step, Explosion, Wheel, Fox, Shackle. So Fox into Shift C.
Yeah.
Fox into Shift C. Heart Snatch, Dance into Target.
Exactly. And the reason that you end with those skills is twofold. I'm sure you've noticed that Kuno rebombs will basically tag people almost through iframes as they're standing up. Like, you can just finish off that last 1 HP bar every single time with those skills. They're unescapable. And it also prevents you from getting grabbed as somebody's standing up, because people have a tendency to do that.
Let me do this correctly then. I did that a little slow.
Essentially, the formula for Kuno is float, build runes, float with wheel, filler burst. If you follow that formula, any combo you do will be good, and there really is no like default combo. I like to think of the skills more as sequences of 2 skills and how I'm going to connect them with a CC. So, for example, clone into stomp, explosion into shackles, smoke screen into flash slash, tendon cutter into, you know, clone stomp, or hidden dagger into tendon cutter, things like that. Let's say that I'm in stealth behind you, and there's like 4 people just dropping damage. The most damage you are ever going to do is explosion into shackles.
Explosion shackles,
that right
okay.
there,
That's what I use the most right now.
Explosion into shackles, right? And the other thing to note about that is both of them have down attack, right? So if you're attacking already downed targets, you're going to be melting them very, very hard. I mean, the most important thing with the Kuno is getting the drip right? So
Hey, what you think, man?
It's pretty good. You've got the white and the gold with the eye patch.
Yeah.
The star eyes and the freckles are looking good. Got the Sharingan going.
Yes, hey, glad you noticed. Yes. Yo,
You got it. Hidden cape, the correct sword.
Yep.
Notice I am also using that.
My goat. See, this is how you know I'm the perfect protege, man. This is how you know. I know the sword.
Very,
okay, so this is
the hood with the shiesty.
Yeah, hood with a shiesty. This is my other one, but I think the other one's my favorite right now. But I'm glad you like the drip, man.
There's no wrong answer here. Just do something that's, you know, unique to you, whatever you like.
You know, I know that you helped me back then. If you're down to help me again, and we've been here for like 3-4 hours almost, so it's been really good.
And my last notes before I hop out of here and let you take over the stream from hijacking it. Family, what's up? Coco's kittens, where are you at? Epidemic, drop the deck. I'm ready to PvP. Let's go. Well, I'll see you there on our show or wherever else. 2 hours of montages already made, so I'm gonna drop some more content, and then I will probably post another full Kuno guide. I'll just do it in one video, and then I'll do another Q&A stream after that sometime. So that's all I got. Appreciate you for having me, Yeti. He's been a great homie. He's one of the only people that actually committed to learning this class, as punishing as it is. You really have to be a psychopath to stay on this class and try to make it work when you have awakening sages and awakening doses, one skilling people through iframe. So hey man, give some props to him. Sub to his channel, give him the follows. All right, he deserves it. And
thank you, buddy.
I'll be seeing you around if you ever need a little bit more help.